What's everyone reading?
I'm currently reading Deep End by Ali
Oh,
Hazelwood. Ah,
Okay.
a little kinky.
okay. How are you liking it?
I'm really liking it. She's still sticking with like kind of the women in STEM situation,
Okay, that's
but
cool.
she's also a diver for like a swim team, but she's on the dive team. But she's like, I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, it's very like she's got these kinky little desires and trying to find somebody that can match her freak.
Is somebody gonna match my freak?
I'm currently reading. I'm actually loving this Wolf Song by T.J. Klune.
I've heard good
It is.
things.
It's so good. Like it's actually so good. I was not expecting to like it as much as I'm liking it,
Wow.
and it has Sprita. Just too. It's cute.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty.
I'm almost done. I'm probably gonna finish it tonight.
I'm also probably gonna finish Deep End tonight.
I'm so excited.
Okay, I am reading a book called The Other Mistress by Shanora Williams. It's like a trashy thriller. That's all I can say about it. But I mean, it's entertaining.
We love trash.
Yeah. It's not that great, but I have read her other thrillers and she references like characters in those other books. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm like, oh, I know who these people are, you know?
Like she references them as like people that live within that universe as well.
Yeah, it's like, did you hear about that person? They're gonna get out of jail, and it's from another book. And like,
Like, that's kind of
Mm,
cool.
yeah, there's a brother from one of the books, and this character in this book went to his house because they're friends.
love that. Currently reading.
We're readers, we're reader girlies.
Welcome back, everybody. We are your 3 favorite book besties. I'm Lauren.
I'm Carlos.
And I'm Rose.
And today we are going to be talking about my pick, which was Rot and Ruin by Jonathan Maberry. So we're going to try and start out with no spoilers for like the first little bit, and then we'll get into spoilers. So, because we love a spoiler.
So this book, it follows this teenager Benny. This is in a world set 14 years, I believe, after
15, right?
Oh, but I thought he was 1. He's 15 years old. Benny is
Oh, okay,
15.
okay.
Yeah, and it takes place 14 years after a zombie apocalypse began, and it follows Benny in this world where they live in like a little community. And when you're 15, you try to get a job to help the community. And outside of their community is the rotten ruin where all of the zombies live. The zombs.
The Zoms. Yeah, and we just follow his little group of friends for the most part, kind of what their take on the zombie apocalypse is, whether they think that living in this kind of like delusional quote unquote bliss where they just kind of pretend like the zombies aren't there is
Mhm.
what they want for the rest of their lives, or if they think that eventually they should start kind of taking back the world that they lost. So
So overall, I just felt like the story was too YA. The characters, Benny felt too young. I was annoyed by him for the whole book, basically.
yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think it was for me.
My initial thoughts, I will say I really like the premise of this book. I like the world that it's in, but I do share the same sentiments that the characters were like so young that it was sometimes annoying to hear
Mm,
them talk,
yeah.
especially Benny. Benny, I'm like,
Betty pissed me
oh.
off. But
Yeah. No, he's
um,
annoying. He is annoying at first.
he is very annoying, but I did like the premise because, like you said, it's like if you like Walking Dead, you'll be familiar with, like, a zombie apocalyptic world.
And like kind of a Stranger Things vibe with following like this group of young kids.
So without any spoilers, those were my initial thoughts.
And I think for me, like my kind of attachment to like the 2 main brothers, Benny and Tom Amura, I think my first like initial connection to them, they reminded me a lot of the brother duo in Big Hero 6,
Oh.
especially with Tom being like the older brother. R.I.P. Um and spoiler for Big Hero 6. But it's been out for so long, guys. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine.
But I mean, and the fact that, both half Japanese. I think, yeah, Benny is less percentage of Japanese because it's like
Tom is full Japanese, and then Benny is half.
Carlos, what's the trauma with Benny? What's the beef?
Benny, in his little 1-year-old mind, remembers that his older brother Tom ran away from saving their mom when she was getting eaten by zombies. So in his head, he sees Tom as a coward, and that's just how he's seen him his whole life, basically.
And Tom is described basically in this town, they all have like bounty hunters that go out and kill zombies. And Tom is one of them, and he's like top tier.
Mhm.
Just everybody loves him. Everyone thinks he's such a badass. And Benny just doesn't get it. He's like, if they only knew, like, my brother is such a coward, like, he ain't shit kind of vibes. And it's just seeing that unfold was interesting to me because I'm like, I don't know. Benny just was very much giving like 15-year-old teenager, like,
Yeah.
but like that's the point.
Well, yeah.
I will say, with the dialogue, and I love YA, I really do. I like YA horror, I like YA fantasy, like everything. I will say that this felt, and I don't know if it is because I know that this author, Jonathan Maberry, or just John Mayberry.
Jonathan.
Mayberry Jonathan, okay. I do know he writes horror, like adult horror. So I'm like, is this his first YA? Because some of the stuff that the teenager said, I'm like, this just feels like you looked up like Urban Dictionary. What do teenagers sound like?
Like what?
One, and it was like this was Benny, and I think this is whenever he like a little bit farther into the book, maybe like 30%, where he's talking to Tom, and then he says, "Well, I would pop a cap in them." And then he and then and then later on he goes, "Well, I would have jacked them up." Talking about like I don't know if he was talking about one of the antagonists or a zombie. I don't know, but I was like, he hasn't talked like this at all during like the entire dialogue, and then it's just like these random little blurbs. I'm like, okay.
I mean, back then I was still saying pwned, so I don't have any room to talk.
Yeah, that was just a little like, But also, I do know that this is when was this written? Like 2010.
Could have been the times.
Popping a cab.
Yeah, I mean, I loved this book. I don't know why it's like been such a comfort read for me because, like, obviously it's like zombies and you shouldn't be comfy around those kind of things. But I've read this book, I think, 3 times now. So
Wow.
Wait, really? You liked it that much? Okay, can we get into spoilers and can you tell me why you like it so much, like specifically?
I don't know, just the vibe of it. I like the brother duo. I really love Tom's character. Um I love a protector, so there's that.
Okay, very
There were
you.
there were a couple parts that I genuinely was like, "Damn, like that was pretty good." And I'll get into those parts cuz it's kind of further in the book. I do love The Walking Dead, so I felt like I was put back in that universe, but with like a fresh story. Because Walking Dead is just so drawn out at this point. I've felt like it was just something new, which is funny because this is like an older book. Um, yeah, and just with like it scratched my Stranger Things itch because I just do love that like camaraderie with the friends and it also reminded me of It Chapter 1 as well, kind of the same vibe, group of friends in like a crazy situation. Yeah, so it just ticked a lot of boxes for me.
Okay, when you say Stranger Things, I don't really see it with the group of friends because
Really?
you get that a bit in the beginning when they're in the community, but once like shit goes down, it's literally just Tom and Benny for most of it. and eventually we get to Nyx when they save her, but I I don't know, I thought it was gonna be a bigger cast of characters that we're gonna be following. Um, and I think also just being only in Benny's point of view didn't really let me connect with any of the characters.
Okay.
You compared it to The Walking Dead, which I get it, but I also feel like the stakes weren't high enough for me. Like I love a high stakes because like when people die, I knew
Mhm.
nobody was gonna die. Like we'll get into it later, but I even texted Rose about it too. I mean, we're in spoilers, right? So I can
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
say, so when
spoil it.
Tom died, I literally after that happened, I literally wrote, if Tom comes back to save the day, I'm gonna kill myself. And at the end of the book, there he is saving the day. Um,
I mean, yeah, you know he's gonna come back because
yeah,
they don't show his body getting eaten by zombies.
I don't know. It just wasn't for me, I guess.
Mm.
Because I wanted more. I wanted it to be more gruesome, but like I get it, it's YA, it's for like a younger audience, so I understand.
The other books get a lot darker. Um, and the reason why it reminded me as I kept reading, because I mean, I jumped into book 2 straight away. Like, as soon as I finished book 1, it was on to book 2. So maybe, like, my thoughts were kind of, like, blending in together because there's a lot bigger cast of characters as you keep reading on.
I do agree with Carlos in the stakes being low for me, even though, like, by the end, it wasn't as low, but I feel like we spent so much time, and I know it's book 1, so, we're gonna have some build up, we need some background knowledge on, like, their lives, on the friends' lives, on everything going around, um, but I wish they didn't spend so much time at the beginning on just, like, oh, as Tom being like, "Let me tell you this story, and then oh, wait, hold
Yes.
on. Let
Oh
me
my
pause. I
god.
can't finish yet.
The di-
Let's go do something. Let me tell you this story. Oh, can't finish yet. Let me go do something. Oh, got it." Like, it felt like, "Just tell me the story already so that we could I don't know, so that the
You were
plot could
getting
move
blue
on."
balled.
So much. And I was like I literally put in my notes, I was like, "When does the plot begin? Like, what is gonna happen? I don't get
Mm.
it."
that first half just felt so info dumpy because they were just like talking and talking and telling stories, but like I feel like it just wasn't going anywhere. Like even when we were told the story of the lost girl, it was like a whole 2 pages, but like I just did not care. I feel like it would have been better if we would have got a chapter from George's point of view, or like of what happened that day or something like that. I don't know.
Mm.
But just like someone telling Benny the story, I just feel like that didn't. I don't know. It didn't connect with me.
It would have been kind of a weird flashback to go to George's character when George is dead.
Yeah.
So, like, at least Benny still heard the story from what was his name? Rob Shapiro?
Something.
Oh, the is it the artist guy?
Yeah. Staccato or something like that.
That sounds
No,
right.
Yeah, not
I think so.
Shapiro.
Not
Shapiro.
Sachetto? I don't know.
Something like that, like such just a Cheeto.
Yeah. So, because I mean, he was still there for that. He was there to, like, meet Lila and kind of be within her story. So, like, it made sense that he was the one to tell that story, especially since he drew her. Um, like, Benny kind of had to go back to the source on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I get why he told it. I don't know. I didn't like the way it was done. Or I feel like if we could have also. I always say this, but I feel like any book always benefits from multiple POVs. And if we would have got like a Lila POV, I feel like that would have also been cool.
I think a Lila POV would've been cool, even, like, before we knew who she was,
Yeah.
like, just, like, an unnamed type of chapter, and it's just, like, her perspective and saying, like, what she sees or what's happened to her, and then we slowly find out, like, she is the lost girl. I think that would've been cool.
We're kind of all over the place, but
Yeah, we are.
We can go back to the plot.
yeah, should we start, like, kind of what brings them into the Rotten Ruin, I guess? Like, why they have to kinda leave the settlement that they call Mountainside?
Oh, is that what they call Mountainside?
The kids have this, like, trading card situation, which I loved. I loved that part. So, like, we mentioned how all the bounty hunters, they're very, like, idolized in this town. And so originally they made portraits of these people to, like, I don't know, just represent what they looked like and yada yada. But it ended up turning into like a trading card system for the kids, which I thought was really cool. Basically like freaking Pokemon. Um there was a card that Benny had gotten, and it was cuz it can be, you know, citizens, bounty hunters, specific zombies. And he'd gotten a special chase card of the Lost Girl, and he immediately was like, hot damn, where the fuck is she? And
Literally obsessed.
which, you know, when I saw Bang Chan's photo card, same, girl, same.
Okay, okay,
I
photo
mean,
cards. Okay.
yeah.
So he sees that Rob Suchetto was the one that drew her. And so he goes back to the source and just has all these questions. And yeah, basically, one of the bounty hunters is not pleased.
Mr. Charlie Pink Eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like, okay, I want to rewind just a little bit before this and Benny's thoughts on zombies. I feel like that was like a big point. Yeah. Like, of course, he didn't want to work with Tom or whatever, but no, like, nobody was taking him to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Mr. What's his name?
Suchetto.
Suchetto was like, "Sorry, you cannot work here. You cannot draw." And so he had to like go out with Tom, and he realized, "Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Like zombies used to be people. This is crazy." And then they like came back and was like, "Oh, Charlie, the guy that I idolized is actually maybe not a great guy."
Yeah, everyone looked up to him.
Because he was just super badass, but no one actually saw the work that he was doing out in
Mhm.
the rotten ruins. So it was like, yeah, he was like just being very extra with his kills, like mistreating the zombies and just like being a weirdo, basically.
Yeah, big weirdo.
And Tom's take on it was a lot more gentle, sentimental, because he was trying to teach Benny, like, they're at the end of the day, they were still a person and they were
Mhm.
someone's mom or dad or friend. And which I get that it was hard for Benny to understand that, being so isolated from the zombies for a while, not really going out into the rotten ruin, just seeing them as like monsters that just need to be fucked up, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um and having to seeing Tom reading like a heartfelt letter from a family member before they're silenced, I think is what they call it, right?
Or quieted.
Where they just like sever the back spinal cord to make sure that they actually die for real this time.
Mhm.
Charlie Pink Eye, bad guy.
Big bad guy.
MC, no, not MC Hammer. What the
If
fuck's his
uh,
name?
now you got MC Hammer in my head.
Something City Hammer.
What the hell is his name?
Metro City Hammer?
Metro Boomin? I don't know.
Metro Boomin? What?
Metro Station?
I don't know.
Shake, shake.
The hammer guy.
Bad. Boo. Tomato, tomato.
Boo! Tomatoes.
So I don't remember why Charlie is also so obsessed with the Lost Girl.
Because she knows where Gameland is.
So he sees that Benny has this card of Lost Girl, and he's like, "Hey, where did you get that? Like, give it to me." And Benny's like, "No, it's my exclusive photo card." So he don't want to give it to him. And then instead of giving it to him, he literally let it go because it was windy that day, and it like flew away. And then Tom caught it, and that part was pretty cool. I will say that was like pretty badass when Tom was like defending his brother. So we have Gameland, which the Lost Girl that's on the photo card. People like a lot of people from the town know her because they've seen her around. Um, but she just lives out in the rotten ruin.
People think she might be a myth.
And Gameland is this place where they basically bet on kids to fight zombies, right? In a ring. And yeah, so it's bad because, you know, obviously, why would they put kids to fight zombies and bet on it? I feel like if it was adults, I feel like it wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is adults.
Oh, it is? I thought it was just always little kids.
Well, because they had Nix's mom do it.
Oh, okay, okay.
they take advantage of your bad situation. Like, sometimes they don't give you a choice. They, like, corral kids in there, and they're like, "Yeah, just fight, and if you survive, good on ya, and if not, oh well, whoever wins the bet, whatever." But if you're in a bad situation, you need more ration dollars, they'll put you in the pit, and if you get more money, you get the money and you can go back to town, and it's all very hush hush because obviously they threaten you to keep your mouth shut. And
Mhm.
yeah, so it's just Gameland is fucked, and Tom destroyed it once already and decided to let Charlie Pink Eye live. Out of everybody that was there, he let Charlie go. He was the only survivor, and he was like, use this as a learning situation, like, and if you try and redo it, Gameland, like, I will put an end to it again and then put an end to you. And the rumor was that Gameland was back up and running, and
Mhm.
Lila knew where it was. So he wanted Charlie Pink Eye wanted her dead.
I wish that more of the book was Gameland, or like
Book 2.
they is it book 2? I figured because of how it ends, how this first book ends.
Yeah.
I wish that the first book, like, that was the big plot throughout, like, I don't know, if we
Yeah.
got there, like, beforehand, because that I feel like that was the most interesting part is, like, oh, these bad guys are obviously doing something bad, but, they have to infiltrate this, try to destroy it, try to kill people, like, I don't know, I like the concept of Gameland, and I'm like, "Ugh, it only happened really, like, the big actions I feel like only happen, like, towards the end."
Yeah, it gives you a taste, but the second book is based on the recreation of Gameland, and it's
I just feel like an author shouldn't save the cool stuff for the second and third book. Like there should be some cool stuff in the first book at least. And I feel like even with the big fight scene at the end, I feel like we didn't get that.
I don't know. There were little parts that I thought were cool slash like unexpected. And now that we know Rob Cicetto's story, like I was shocked when there's a scene where Benny and Tom are speaking, and then they hear like a bunch of screams and commotion, and Tom goes out to try and help or see what's going on, and Benny's kind of in the house, door's locked, he hears some commotion and some knocking on the door, and he's like, oh, maybe Tom is like hurt or something and I need to open the door for him. And this figure comes into the house, and he realizes that it's a zombie and it's Rob Cicetto. And
Yeah.
he kind
R.I.P.
of has this moment of like, this is the first time since first night that I'm seeing someone that I knew and had a relationship with turn and like be right in front of me as a zombie. Like I loved that part. I was gagged by that. I'm like, not Rob, not the artiste.
That was also the night that shit went down and when like shit actually started happening in the plot, which I remember was exactly at 45%. Um cuz yeah. And then that's when cuz one of the gates broke down, no? Or something happened where some zombies were able to get in, but they were taken care of. And then this zombie comes and knocks on the door and they're like, where the fuck did he come from? Like he shouldn't have made it this far, basically. Like the where Sachetto lived was really far away from where the incident happened. And then
Yeah.
that's when they start connecting the dots to it being Charlie who is
Yeah.
who killed him, because you turn into a zombie no matter what happens. Like no matter how you die,
Mhm.
you turn into a zombie.
I will say with the zombies, I feel like they weren't even really, like, they're just kind of like a side thing in this world, because, like, or at least not in this world, but for the actual, like, storyline, because
Yeah.
Benny was more of, like, just trying to realize that zombies were people, so I think that's why, like, the zombies in this world weren't really, like, I don't know, aggressive or intense. They were just
Mm.
like, "Hey guys, they're not going to bother you. Put on some of the, what do they call it? What's that stuff
The
that they
carpet
put on?"
coats.
Yeah. Put on some of that, like, you're going to be
Oh,
so
and
fine.
um Oh my god. Yeah, not the perfume or cologne,
The
but it's
yeah,
the
the liquid that they put
Oh
on.
yeah,
What is it called? What the hell?
something green.
Yeah, that sounds right.
it's what saved Tom from dying.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm like, okay, did wish, like, I don't know, the zombies were more aggressive, but that's fine, you know? We can have a friendly neighborhood zombie, I guess.
They definitely get more aggressive, and there is sort of like a mutated zombie outbreak, we'll say.
See, we should have got a glimpse of that in this book. Then maybe I would have been interested to read the next one.
Yeah, I don't know. It did feel very slice of life at the beginning, but
Hmm.
I think that's why I liked it though, is because it's like I was trying to put myself in that position of what it would feel like to be that young and to only know a life of zombies, really, being like right outside the gates. So I liked that something didn't immediately happen because I wanted to feel that normalcy of like, this is just life, I guess. So I liked that it waited a little bit to kind of pop off and get him out of the community.
Yeah, I guess I understand that. I do like a slice of life story, I really do. But I don't know why though. I mean, probably because he's a 15-year-old boy and like all the other characters are also 15 besides Tom. But also
Mhm.
Tom was training to be a cop, so maybe that's why I didn't really love him so much. Um Sorry. But I really
That's
did
funny.
not feel like a connection with any of like our main characters. The character I liked the most was Lila. I was like, okay, Lost Girl, I like you the most.
I like Chong. He's so funny.
I don't remember Chong.
Benny's like BFF, yeah.
Yeah, Lu Chong, Morgie,
Okay.
Nyx. Morgie's the one that liked Nyx and was
Yeah.
like, Benny, back the fuck up.
I will say, okay, I know we're like going on a tangent and this is nothing to do with well, kind of, but Nick's and Benny's little relationship, I am like, I see no chemistry. What's
Me
going on
too.
here?
I will say though, I did like that Lila wasn't the love interest because if she was, I
Mhm.
would have been so pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I probably would have dropped it a whole star. But since it was Nick's, like his childhood best friend, I was like, okay, fine. Like I'll accept it.
I don't know. I had a lot of different like things that I just loved about this book, you guys. I don't know. Like Rose read Fourth Wing 5 times. This is my fourth wing, I
True.
think.
I'm
Yeah.
not judging you,
Okay.
you know what?
Yeah.
Valid.
This
Yeah.
is just like
Period.
my little comfort read. I don't know. Tom makes me feel safe.
Okay.
He does. I want him to protect me with his samurai sword. Anyways, what happens after they find good old dead ass Rob Sachetto? I hope that's his name. We've just been calling him that.
I
It's okay.
know.
I think that is his name.
Well, they go look for Charlie, like at his house, or no, at they go to Sachetto's house, and everything is just fucked up, and it's like been thrown everywhere and ripped, and um, I don't know what was he looking for. Like, what was he looking for, Charlie?
He was either looking for the card or some sort of sign.
Oh, Nix's mom was the only other person that Tom ever told about the lost girl,
Yeah.
and I think one of the friends told Charlie that Nix's mom knew. So then they knew that Charlie was gonna go try to get information from her.
Tom looked at Benny and was like, "Who else did you tell about the card?" And he
Mhm.
was like, "Nix." And that's when Tom's like, "Oh fuck, we've got to get over there right now." And that was kind of a scary part for me because when they went over to Nix's house, Morgie is like sitting in the front, like battered and beaten. And at first, you don't know if he's like in the midst of like turning.
Oh, yeah, because he's not talking. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he looks ghastly because I'm pretty sure Charlie Pink Eye like beat the fuck out of him. So he just like, yeah, Benny's like, you need to say a word right now before Tom literally makes you kebab. And finally, I forget what he says, something about like, go help Nix or Nix is
Yeah,
hurt.
something like that.
Ugh. And then poor Nix's mom, I forget what her name is, something Riley, Mrs. Riley.
I don't remember.
Tom and her had like a little love connection. And now she's dead.
Yeah. So she was close to Tom's age, right? Because they were friends.
Yeah.
And they're like 35, which I didn't know Tom was that old.
Yeah, he was 20 during
He was
the
20 when it
first.
started.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was in the police academy or whatever.
I thought he was going to be like only a couple years older than Benny.
Old man vibes. 35, ancient.
Ancient. So
Ancient.
old.
But yeah, so and he like mentions to Benny like, did you ever notice that, Mrs. Riley and Nix would kind of get food and they would never go hungry? Like that was because of me. I would work a little harder to put food on their plate and we wouldn't
Mhm.
eat as like plentiful as we could, because I was also taking care of them. And so it's like, aw, he was just a lovesick boy.
R.I.P. And then Nyx is like, well, whenever we get, yeah, she's taken, but once we get back to her, she's like, Tom killed my mom. Girl, everyone is like so
Oh,
mad at Tom all the time. I'm like, he's just trying to live his life, guys,
right.
please.
Well, I'm sure it doesn't help with like Benny complaining to Nix all the time
Exactly.
about his brother. He's like, Tom is such a piece of shit. He's such a coward. And Nix is like, and he killed my fucking mom. Like, fuck this guy. Tom basically tells Benny, like, okay, obviously Charlie Pink Eye took Nix, killed Nix's mom, or left her on the brink of death, and killed Rob Suchetto, brought his zombie ass to our house in attempt to kill us. Like, we are not safe here. We leave tomorrow morning.
They're going on a quest.
While Tom and Benny are following them, they're like kind of setting up little traps to try and kill them before they can like take Nix from them. They're like trying to lead them in wrong directions to where like a bunch of zombs are, or they have like explosives. They have like firecrackers at some point, so it's like drawing a horde towards them.
They run into like 3 different traps.
But they do see Nix is alive because
Yeah.
Nix yells at Benny.
I remember there's the one where like the rocks fall on them, right?
Cadaverine.
Cadaverine? What's cadaverine?
Cadaverine.
I
That's
don't
the
know why that
liquid.
just came to my head.
Good
I was like,
job. Oh
what?
my gosh.
Cadaverine. Okay,
Cadaverine.
continue.
Um, I don't really remember all the traps, but I remember the one where like the rocks fall on them and then the firecrackers.
It's the last trap, right? That we get Tom and Benny separated, where we think Tom is dead.
Yeah.
Tom is like up on this car,
I think they're surrounded by zombies.
hundreds, thousands, something like that. Like there are so many around them.
Mhm.
But previously they were Benny had a bottle of cadaverine, the stuff that makes them smell like the undead, to get the zombies to at least like not pay attention to them as much.
Hmm.
And he like tossed the bottle to Tom and it spilled all over him. And he was like, "Oh, like I'm not going to have to put on any more for like days or weeks," or whatever he says. And there's an incident where Tom falls off of something. I can't remember if he's on his horse or a car or something. He's on top of something and he
Mhm.
falls into this horde of zombies. And immediately Benny's like, well, he's fucking dead, so I'm running. And so,
No, well, he wants to go back to save him, doesn't he? But Nyx is like, no, like
but
we have to
Nyx,
go. Yeah.
yeah, because Nyx gets away from Charlie Pink Eye because of all the distractions with the zombies and everything like that. So her and Benny like peace out into the woods and they just start hiding. I think this is when they just start like trying to hide.
Yeah,
And they
I
have
think
their
so.
cute little moment where they like make out.
Oh, okay, I remember now. I'm like, honestly, the middle of the book, I'm like, what even happened?
Because Benny like rips up the card.
No, I think he still has it. No.
No, because Nyx, that's why Nyx kisses him, is because he like takes out the card
Um.
from his pocket and he either like rips it up or he crumples it up and like throws it somewhere, and then he
Yeah.
like puts his arm around Nyx while he thinks that she's asleep, but she's like, "Oh, Benny's got it for me."
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god, I can't.
Well, and then later on we find out Lila was just in the woods watching, like,
Yeah,
What,
being a
literally just
creep.
staring at them, listening to everything that they say.
Yeah, it's when they're in the little watchtower. No. Or at least that's how I imagined it.
Yeah. Because then Lila comes to save them when two of Charlie Pink Eye's little cronies goes to the watchtower, climbs up, and is like, well, what do we have here? And they like
Hmm.
basically say that they're gonna bring them to Charlie. And then Lila's like, ska! Stab, stab, stab.
I liked her. She was so feral.
Yeah, that is how they describe her. A feral gal.
She's just a feral gal living in the woods in the rotten ruin.
In a cave. In a
Yeah.
cave.
Yeah.
Well, because she had her and her sister. She had a sister named Annie.
Hmm.
And were they both taken?
Yes, to Gameland.
Okay, they were taken to Gameland. And then but was Annie killed? And then like she just ran away. She kind of just left Annie in the Benny like said something was like just left her in the mud like she was nothing or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'm sure Lila was scared, but
That's how Lila describes it because she
oh, that's
has
how she describes it.
trauma. Yeah, she has trauma from leaving Annie like that because they were both still very young. And they were taken to Gameland. Annie was younger than Lila, and she took it upon herself to try and escape, even though Lila was like, not yet. And Annie was running away from the Motor City Hammer. I'm pretty sure that's his name. And Annie falls and hits her head on a rock, and the Motor City Hammer just basically watches Annie on the ground like dying because he could have probably saved her. Like she like hit her head and could have gotten help, but he just watched her like bleed out. And Lila watched the whole thing because she was like, if I go out and try and help, he's such a bigger, older man. Like, what? I'm just gonna get captured again and then probably die in the pits. So like all I can do is watch. Like I'm so helpless, whatever. And so that's kind of where her revenge starts, is since she did escape and waited for the hammer to walk away, she went to Annie and Annie turned and she had to quiet her. Um and yeah, Lila just had to live out in the rotten ruin by herself.
And she's been kind of leaving a trail of men that like look like Hammer. What's the name? Motor City Hammer.
Yeah. I thought you'd
MC
like this
Hammer.
part.
Yeah, I do. Maybe that's why I like her because girl is not afraid to kill.
Specifically
Yeah.
men.
Exactly, specifically men. I'm like, okay, Lila, I see you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah, she would specifically target men that were like height, weight, build, everything of the Motor City Hammer in
She's a little
preparation to
serial killer.
literally. And this was like alive people, zombies, this was everything.
Yeah. Out of all the characters, she was definitely my favorite too.
Because I feel like she had the most like depth, even though we didn't meet her until later on. I feel like she had the most like motivation of all of the characters.
Mhm.
Like even Benny, even Tom, like Morgie, Nix. Maybe Nix to a point because like she was taken, like she's gone through a trauma.
Mhm.
But I feel like her character motivation was very clear. Like
Yeah.
she wanted to murder this man, and as she should because he's terrible and ruined her life.
But she's very well read. She's a book girly.
She
Thank you,
is.
George,
Yeah.
for all the books.
She sounds like us after a concert. Did you guys listen to the audiobook?
Yeah, I've done
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
He did a good job with the voice type. But
You didn't like the other characters?
no, I just didn't like the way I didn't like the audio, the narrator, the way he did his expressions on like when people were screaming, he wouldn't
Mm.
like it just didn't feel like he was screaming.
Okay, I did. That's why I had to switch back to the book because I was listening to audio. I'm like, first of all, he sounds like an older man, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mm.
this is supposed to be teenagers. But also I felt like he was very monotone. Sorry to this
Mm.
narrator. Maybe he's better now. I don't know, but just some constructive criticism for your next book, sir.
I'm sure he's listening.
I remember there was a forest of zombies tied up.
I don't remember what happens, but Benny thought that Lila betrayed them and was, like,
Oh, yeah,
gonna, like,
yeah.
kill them or something, and he was like, "You bitch." Like, he just, like, switched so quick. I'm like and then they go out and all of the zombies, like, so I don't even know, like, hundreds, thousands are, like, just tied up. And Lila's like, "Hee hee hee," and she's like or Benny's like, "Oh, sorry I called you a bitch, girl.
Yeah.
JK."
I mean, to be fair, she was lacking some social skills. She could have warned them, but she definitely wanted that reaction for them to be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, fuck," because she was just like, "La-di-da, this is my little death forest." Um, but, like, honestly, I would be Benny too. As soon as we walk up to that forest and see all the zombies, I'd be like, "You motherfucker, you're trying to just straight up murder me? Like, what was the point? What was the point?"
No, she's just a silly little goofy
She's so
serial killer girly.
goofy. She's so goofy. She's like, "Benny."
That's how she talks.
Do they try and find Gameland, right? Because they look at Lila and they're like, "So are the rumors true? Like, you know where Gameland is?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's not super close to here, but I can take you." And so that's where they decide to go, and they kind of create this plan of how the three of them are gonna attempt to take down Gameland.
Because I thought they were walking in the direction of the jet. Were they not?
I don't even remember how, like, the final battle happens. Like, how do they come across Charlie again?
They find where he like rounded up a bunch of kids.
Yes, he's got all the kids, like, trapped, and this is, like, his, like,
Yeah.
base kind of, but not really.
Yeah, this is like the place that they meet up before they go to Gameland, because Benny is like, "I don't recognize a lot of these kids. Like, I do not recognize them at all." And so they kind of determine it's because other bounty hunters from other towns are
Mm,
bringing, like, their own
it's
kids, which is
it's
just so
yeah.
Yeah.
fucked up.
It's bigger than just Charlie.
Yeah, and then Benny and Nix also see some of their neighbors. They're like, "That's Mrs. fucking Smith, who is, like, a music teacher, and she's, like, betting on these children, like, what the hell?" And I was like, "That's wild. You never know who's a little cuckoo crazy, do ya?"
True.
It all boils down to something that Lila does. There's, like, some sort of smoke signal that they have to give her to, like, start the chaos. Because I know Benny starts a fire.
Yeah, this is where, like, more of the fireworks come in. They put the fireworks in Joey's bag. Isn't there a man named Joey? I think they put the fireworks in his bag, and then Nyx got into the area with the other kids, and she looks
Mhm.
dingy. So, like, the guy that's, like, leading turns around, he doesn't notice her because she just, like, blends in with them. So that's where she's at, and so her job is to, like, get them out. But what is Lila doing? Because 'Cause isn't Benny the one that put the firecrackers in the bag?
Yeah, Benny's job was to, like, start some chaos in there, and then I think
Mhm.
Lila was the one that was actually gonna start, like, trying to pick off the bounty hunters.
I don't remember any of this. I don't remember the plan they come up with.
Me neither. I don't remember the exact plan. I just remember, like, some of the things that happened, but I don't remember, like, the logistics of how they even did it, because then our hero comes back.
There's a moment where it kinda looks like, "Oh, shit," like, this plan is not working out kind of as we thought it was gonna be, which, surprise, it's 2 15-year-olds and, like, I think Lila's, like, probably 17 or something like that, I can't fully remember, or maybe the same age, I don't know. Um, but yeah, no shock there, they kinda, like, fuck shit up, doesn't go as planned, but good old Tom is there.
Who comes to save the day? Tom.
Um,
I just love how he's described as, like, being in, like, the shadows with his hood up and just, like, his samurai sword. Like, I picture almost like an Assassin's Creed type
Oh
of,
my
like,
god.
cover. And then, yeah, Tom basically is just like, nah, we got this. Like, let's fuck shit up. And so the chaos begins. Nix starts taking the kids out of the area to save them.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure Lila and Tom just start slicing motherfuckers
Killing
down.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
And Benny
See, what was Benny even doing? I don't even remember.
He was useless.
Benny like had his eyes specifically set on Charlie.
But I feel like this is where that quote where, like, he's just doing the best he can. He didn't have enough, like,
Enough
training, like,
training,
fighting
yeah.
training. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it happened around there.
Yeah, just literally being powered by pure rage.
I mean, I know Charlie ends up dying.
Yes, he's stabbed and then falls off a mountain.
Are you
I
telling me
don't
that he lives?
No,
Okay, I was like, you tell me he comes back.
he reanimates.
Yeah, I will say the last the last chapter and then the epilogue, I feel like they, like, blend together. So what is the true ending? What happens, guys? Please.
Wait, wasn't the epilogue long as fuck too?
Yeah, it was super long.
Oh my god. I remember reading it. I was like, isn't the book over? But the epilogue was like I understood why they
Yeah,
did it.
the
Yeah.
epilogue was important
Yeah.
because I think it sets up the whole Gameland story, I'm assuming, for book 2, right?
What happens for this like final battle is Charlie is defeated. He like dies. I forget exactly how, but I think he's like stabbed by something. And then does Lila kill the Motor City Hammer? Or is he still alive?
Probably.
I think he's still no, I
Oh,
feel like he's still alive.
is
Is
he?
he?
She didn't get her
I don't know. I
revenge.
don't remember her killing him, but also I don't remember.
I can't remember. But basically Charlie's dead and gone. They save these children and they take Nick's, Benny, like everybody that belongs back to Mountainside, their little town. And so from that point, they kind of get back with the friends, Morgie and Chong, kind of tell them everything that happened. And Tom tells Benny, like, I have one last bounty to do if you'll come with me. Like, I need you to come with me. And we can kind of decide together if we want to continue the family business and we want to keep doing this, or if this is it, if this is our last one.
This is when they go back to where they used to live, right?
Oh, it's a gated community too.
Yeah, Tom doesn't tell Benny that they used to live there.
Tom has been there multiple times and he's already like put everyone in the houses they belong in and waiting for someone to give him the bounty to go and kill these people. Um but they go to this house and there's two, it's both
Two of
parents are
them.
there, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's two of them and they tie them up and take them to the backyard. But then I don't remember if they have like if they say something to them.
Tom basically tells Benny, like, I've said all I needed to say. It's basically up to you on if you have any last words for them.
But they don't tell the reader yet that it's the parents.
It just kind of shows Benny seeing the photos on the wall and having these mixed emotions of like getting emotional and saying, I don't know if I can do this. And Tom's like, well, I certainly can't do this alone. So make up your mind. Can you do it or not? Type of a situation. I mean, he's more gentle than that, but
Mhm.
same sentiment where it's like, I physically can't do this without you. Like, this has to be both of us.
Yeah, he waited until he was old enough to, like, understand and go out with him because he had kept them there for, I mean, since the first night.
Benny remembers his mom that night as wearing like a white dress with red
Mhm.
sleeves. And he notices that this woman that's sitting there, I'm sure he's deducted that it's the mom at this point.
Mhm.
But he notices that her sleeves weren't designed red. It was just a fully white dress, and it already showed that she had bite marks
Mhm.
previously. And that's what made her sleeves red, was she was already bitten. So Benny is basically finding out the information that when Benny's mom was giving Benny to Tom and telling him to run, she was already destined to turn. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Tom couldn't just go back and save her. He wasn't being a coward. There was nothing he could have done. Like, he was just straight up saving Benny. And so
Yeah.
Benny's like, fuck, like, I've thought that my brother was a coward this whole time. And really, there was nothing he could do regardless.
Is the one that ends up quieting his mom with, he says, "I love you, mom," at the end. And then that's how you find out that it was actually the mom.
Benny's kind of like almost mad at Tom because he's like, why did you let me think that you were a coward this whole time? Like, why the miscommunication? Why not just tell me? And Tom was like, I needed you to come up with this conclusion yourself because there was no way that anything I would have told you, you would have believed. Like, you needed to see it for yourself. But I also wanted you to like be older so you could come to terms with this at more of a mature age. Like, what am I gonna do? Show you their corpses at like 7? No.
Exactly. And plus, like, Benny was so stubborn in his beliefs anyways, like, he wasn't gonna believe Tom no matter what he said.
He was just gonna be like, yeah, sure, whatever. You just don't want me to hate you.
True.
You're not as cool as Charlie.
Yeah. I don't have your trading card, Tom, you bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
And then the book ends with them going back to Mountainside or no.
No, I don't
No, they
think
don't go
they
back to
do.
Mountainside from there. I think they go out into the Rotten Ruin to try and find Gameland, right?
Yeah.
Tom is like, we've got shit to do. We got people to save, like Lego.
The end.
Oh, you guys. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I loved the vibe of this book so much.
3 times is crazy.
Well, yeah, because I physically read it twice and then I listened to the audiobook just like whenever I was in the car. I don't know. I think it's because I also am at a point in the books now where I miss some of the characters that are gone, and like I just wanted to be brought back to a time where it wasn't such chaos with these characters.
Okay, so it's, like, comforting, like,
Yeah. So
okay.
it's kind of like I said, the calm before the storm. Like, there's a slight rain shower in book 1, but nothing compared to the rest. So like I want everyone to be happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that feeling.
The vibes of book 1 is very juvenile, very kiddish, just with the things. I mean, Benny's 15. Like, he's gonna sound dorky, he's gonna sound stupid, he's gonna say the wrong thing most of the time, he's gonna be angsty, but like, I knew what I was signing up for. So I was like, it almost felt good to like slip my mind back into that like little kid brain, forget about being an adult, and just like
Mhm.
be stupid and be like, yeah, fuck Tom, but also
Oh, you mean it in a different way.
Right. Fuck Tom. But in a different way.
Literally, yeah.
I do like that in the paperback of Rotten Ruin, the first like few cover pages are all illustrations of the trading cards for the bounty hunters,
Oh, that's cool.
the Lost Girl and stuff, so that was really cool. I liked that a lot.
It reminded me, I mean, the books are not similar at all, but in the Sunbearer Trials, there are also, like, trading cards of, like,
Mm,
the heroes and stuff. I was like, "Okay, I like that little aspect."
yeah, I really liked the trading card aspect a lot.
So, what was everyone's final rating?
It's a 5 from me, baby.
Really? A full 5?
Yeah, full 5.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't rate this book when I finished it because I was like, let me discuss. And I've been like trying to marinate on it, but I feel like the fact that I did not remember a lot of the things that
Mm.
happen is kind of like indicative of my rating. So this is not really, I don't know a solid answer, but probably like, I want to say a 3, but also I want to say a 2.75. So I don't know.
Okay.
2.85.
Wait. uh, I gave it 2.25,
Damn. Okay.
which
Shit.
is the lowest book I've rated it so far this year.
Oh my
I
gosh.
like so when I first finished it, I was like, okay, this is a 2 star. But then I ran it through like my, my grading scale that I do, and it went up by 0.25. So
How generous.
yeah.
What did you not like so much about it? That's so crazy to me.
I didn't like the main character, Benny. I thought he was annoying throughout the whole thing. Never once connected with him. I didn't think any of the side characters were very fleshed out for me to care for them. I thought the plot was mid. It was boring for most of it. I feel like the whole, I don't know. I just the first 45% I feel like was also boring. The shit didn't go
Mhm.
down till halfway through the book. Um, I don't know. And then the zombies just weren't interesting.
Mm.
Um, we didn't really learn much about the world. I feel like
I mean, you're looking at it through the eyes of Benny though, who doesn't know much about the world.
that's why I also don't I whenever I read a fantasy book or like, I don't really like first person.
Well, technically it wasn't. It was third
Yeah.
person, but it was mostly like following him.
Right. And that's why I also like books with multiple POVs for that same reason. So it was just, I don't know, it's just like a personal, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I guess, but see, this is why I'm like not super solid in my rating right now, because what I would want from this book is I would want more of like the gruesomeness of living in like this world where there's the rotten ruin, where there's zombies and stuff, which we got some, but it was very light, which I know it's YA, but I've read some like pretty dark YA.
Mm.
Yeah.
But and then like I did not like the dialogue, but then I was like, okay, but he's 15 years old and they're all 15 years old except for Tom. So like
But like also I've read some middle grade that has better dialogue than this.
Yeah, but kids are different. There are some kids that are a little bit more mature than others.
That's true.
Benny's just immature and sheltered. I mean, that's part of it is he's very sheltered.
yeah, but that's why I also wonder like if this could be his first YA book, and maybe that's also why the other books might be better too, because I mean he's won like the Bram Stoker awards, or at least been nominated for like his horror, his adult horror. So I'm
Mhm.
like, maybe this was like his first. I also don't know, I haven't researched Jonathan Maberry, but like if it is, then it kind of shows, but
Mhm.
also I'm assuming that the series at least gets a little bit more interesting and better, especially like
Yeah.
writing, and then also as the
Mhm.
characters get older their dialogue is probably a little better. So I will say, I don't know, even though he was a 15-year-old kid, I know it was 2010, but the dialogue felt like he was looking up in Urban Dictionary, how do teenagers talk.
At that time though, people were popping caps. I mean, I don't
Not
know.
Benny. Benny is
Popping
not
cap.
talking like that, okay? Who around Benny's talking like that
Right.
for him to say that?
To be fair though, if he's idolizing like uh
Charlie.
the Motor City Hammer and Charlie Pink Eye, the way that they talked was crazy. So if they're like, "Oh yeah, we're popping caps in these zombs," like, and Benny's just mirroring what they're saying because he thinks they're fucking sick, like,
Fucking
yeah.
sick, man.
Okay, valid, valid.
Like, I don't know. That's why to me it made sense that he was speaking that way and had those views because like he was idolizing the wrong people.
True, true.
Lit was a part of my vocabulary often.
Let's fair.
Pwned, lit.
Pwned? I don't even know what that means.
Me
Like, what are
neither.
you saying?
What? Like you've been pwned.
What does that
Like
mean?
you've been schooled.
I've never heard that.
That's crazy. That's
This is her
crazy.
Midwest
Yeah.
slang.
Surely other people know pwned.
If you've heard Pone, tell us in the comments. I need to see.
Who else has heard pwned before?
Well, I would recommend this book, mostly because I would just recommend the series. Like, if you don't mind a book series that's similar to the Harry Potter movies, where it like gradually gets darker and it doesn't start off like super hot, and it's that similar like, yeah, just that similar vibe. Like, I love this series, so I would recommend it, because book 2
Fair.
is kind of where they have to age fast and they have to mature and make really hard decisions, and it's like very Gameland prominent, and you just see things that a 16-year-old can't unsee, and that's why you need to essentially age up very fast. And then the themes of like religion and yeah.
I'm just shocked that you like that, though. I feel like you hate religious themes.
I love religious themes.
I think it's because it does remind me so much of the slowness of The Walking Dead.
Mm,
Like, because for me, you don't see the zombies super, super frequently as the story in The Walking Dead progresses. It's very aimed at like the characters themselves and like all the drama within that. So, like, to me, the slowness reminded me of that. Like, very much like
mm,
the Alexandria season where they're kind of in their little cookie cutter town, but things are a mess outside.
mhm.
But yeah, I think that that's why I enjoyed it so much, is because it had themes of a lot of similar things that I already enjoyed, and it just felt like a jumble of all that.
I would still recommend this to people, um, just giving them that, like, the caveat of being like, "Hey, it is slow." Like, the beginning, like, book 1, um, you're not gonna see, like, as much action as you would expect, but also it's set
Mhm.
up. I mean, I would recommend it. Not to everybody, but, like, maybe to people that were, like, looking for something like this, I would still
Mhm.
recommend. And a lot of people like it. It's very highly rated. I did check, like, the rating on Goodreads. It's like a 4.0 or something like that.
I
You can
I
be honest, it's
I
okay.
wouldn't recommend it. Like if I was still working at Barnes and someone came in looking for a YA book, I would go like way different direction than this.
Carlos, are you continuing the series?
I am not continuing the series.
Shock of the century.
I probably will not continue either unless, like, I don't know. Lauren could probably convince me to read book 2, but I'm not so invested in these characters that I'm like, I need to go read book 2 right now.
I'm currently reading book 4. So, yeah, book 4 is what I'm on right now. And I'm loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it.
And we love that for you.
I will be finishing the series.
Period.
What would this show be if it wasn't Carlos hating my recommendations?
Oh my god.
One of these days I'll get it right.
I just think it's your YA books that you recommend me.
Yeah, that's true. It's because I do feel like when I read YA, they are more kiddish, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, it's also because, like, my brain is normally in stuff that's, like, so adult content that sometimes I just wanna go back to La La Land and, like,
That's valid.
thank you guys for watching me getting shit on.
Oh.
Just kidding. You can find me on Instagram at Lauren H. Writes and on YouTube at Read Anything Good.
You can find me on Instagram at Kingdom of Books and on Twitch at Carlos Kings.
And you can find me maybe on Instagram and YouTube at Flower Reads a Lot, and our podcast Control Your Shelf anywhere you get your podcasts. Watch our YouTubes, we're funny. Follow us on Instagram, Control Your Shelf _pod. Is it underscore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An outro segment. Carlos, you have a no shelf control.
Well, so these are special editions that I bought from the Broken Binding, and I have 4.
Oh.
I bought a
Wow.
whole
Okay, really?
trilogy.
No
I
shelf
bought a whole
control.
trilogy. Okay, so first, this is a new release by Richard Swan called Grave Empire.
I've been wanting to read that.
Look at how
How
beautiful. It
pretty.
has a naked.
What?
I love it. Oh my gosh, I'd be so scared. Is it like underwater?
Yeah, I think it's giving like Atlantis, like
I love
Revolutionary
Atlantis. Yeah.
War. I don't know, but I
Ooh.
love it, and I'm so excited to read it.
That's gorge. I might
And
need to buy
then the
that.
other ones that I got were or are a whole trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get them. So I'm not gonna show each like end paper because that would be too much. But it's the Powder Mage trilogy.
Ooh, Promise of
Okay.
Blood.
I have not heard of these. Oh,
Gorge.
cute.
Gorge,
I love
gorge,
when they
Yeah,
connect
gorge.
like that.
they're
Yeah,
so sick. I love the Broken Binding. All their editions are so cool.
I haven't bought anything. I've been a sick dog.
so responsible. I do have a shelf control, no shelf
Okay.
control. So I bought it was on my Kindle. I bought the Scythe and Sparrow, the last of the Ruinous trilogy for Butcher and Blackbird.
Oh.
Yeah. I read it super fast and you guys, it was such a letdown.
Oh.
You were liking it.
I know. When
Aw.
I was like halfway through the book, I was really thinking it was going to be like a solid 4.5 star. No, it ended
Oh,
just
The
like
ending.
not, yeah. I thought it would have been so cool because it seemed like she was setting it up for like all of the characters get together at the end, like Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark, like all the brothers get together and their little serial killer significant others. So I was like, this is like the Avengers. Like they're going to do a kill all together and they're going to do each
Mm,
of their individual like little
that would have been
things,
sick.
right? It would have been
mhm.
sick. They didn't. They all met up in a cabin where Fionn proposes to Rose. Sorry, Rose, I know you hate your name in books.
I will not be reading that.
He proposes to her and then it's literally just this little family getaway in a cabin and I'm like, what the fuck?
At the end of the day,
Where's
it's
the
a
dark?
romance.
Ugh, I know. But and there was just like such tension and build up towards the end. Then she hits us with like a year time jump of them just like having no contact and that just was such a blue balls thing for me that I was
Mm,
like unforgivable.
That's why I didn't like the first book. She loves a time jump.
She does love a time jump and there were multiple time jumps in this one too, so yeah, let
Oof.
down. I gave it a
Sorry.
3. I didn't hate it because I did love the main characters, but
Can you get your money back?
Bryn Weaver, send me my money back. Or write a short story where they all kill someone together, please.
She'll make like a little novella.
Literally, oh, that would have been so cool, but yeah, too high of expectations, I guess. Is what it is. But gotta go pop a cap and stuff.
My whole body just cringed. My entire body.
oh my god.
I'm quitting again. I'm quitting. I hated it.
That was crazy.
I had to pop a cap. I'm sorry.